Humans see the world in three dimensions, but our digital world is limited to only two dimensions. However, human minds are hardwired to automatically perceive the third dimension. Well, the third dimension is depth. Let's begin by answering a simple question. Which line do you think is the longest? Line A or line B? Isn't it obviously line B? While your eyes may tell you that option B is longer, the length of both the lines are exactly the same. Confused? Have a look at this. This is due to a famous optical illusion, the Ponzo illusion. This is a strong example of misapplied size constancy where the side lines indicate depth through linear perspective. Since the vertical parallel lines grow closer, we interpret line B as being farther away in the distance. An object at a distance will have to be longer for it to appear the same size as the near object. Hence, line B seems to be longer than line A even though they are the same size. By considering this illusion, designers can further explore how adding a sense of depth in the website design can make it look more visually appealing. But the question remains, what can the designers do to add an illusion of depth in their design? In this video, I will walk you through 5 ways to add illusion of depth. The first way is occlusion that creates the strongest depth perception. When one object or an element overlaps another object or an element, it creates a depth perception. Transparency is one form of occlusion where the user can see through and past the other object. This is because transparency in the right figure can make it difficult to determine which shape is in front and which is behind. Similarly, in the design above, hampers the user's depth perception since transparency of these figures make it difficult for the user to determine which figure is in front and which is behind. However, in this design, the moon as well as the around planets create a sense of depth by employing occlusion. When occlusion occurs, the viewers fill in the missing details of the hidden design or the object. The second way of adding depth is by sizing and shaping elements. Larger objects appear to be closer and smaller objects appear to be farther. By placing different sized objects or elements near each other, designers can add a cue that the difference in size occurs due to difference in the depth. This also helps the designer to create a perspective of size and scale that helps to demonstrate depth of a composition. For example, in this design, it is evident that the larger shark is nearer to that of the other sharks, and the larger circle is nearer than the other circles. The designer has created a sense of depth by manipulating the size of the figures. Proceeding to the next way, texture can help to imply a sense of depth as it lets one feel the surface of an object or an element. Designers could use texture that mimics something in real life as a reference to create a sense of depth, such as grass or water. Proceeding towards the next way, that is the shadows. A cast shadow between two elements, objects, or shapes helps to demonstrate distance between two objects. Drop shadows are perhaps the most common way a designer adds depth to a design. Reflections can also be used in a similar way as they appear on a different surface. When the shadow is smaller, darker, firm, and also nearer to the object casting it, the object appears nearer to the surface casting the shadow. By making the shadow larger and lighter and placing it away from the object casting it, designers can increase the sense of depth. By blurring the edges of the shadow, the depth can be personified. Just like in the website design, the designers casted the shadow of the object in such a way that it appears to be lifted from the ground. However, in this website design, it is evident that the objects are in proximity to the surface. The location of the design can also create a sense of depth. When elements are seen higher up on the design, they are usually perceived to be farther away. This has to do with our surroundings and how humans are conditioned. Consider the world around you. What's above is the sun, the moon, the stars that are farther away from what is on the ground, that is the sea, grass, and yourself. Just like in this design, by placing the elements lower in the frame, the elements appear to be nearer than the trees that are located on the top. Incorporating depth would give designers more control over the hierarchy of the website elements, as they could be placed in varied levels of depth. Every picture image divides itself into a figure and a ground. Since our digital world is only two-dimensional, designers could incorporate these ways and create it to be a more three-dimensional experience. Thank you for watching this video. Please like and subscribe to our channel to stay tuned.